Good evening, folks. Welcome to Thursday nights. How did I just forget what name it was? Apparently, I was just about to intro Monday night because I got used to doing that back in the day. It's Thursday. It's not Monday. Welcome to Thursday nights Telling Tales. Welcome to Wicked Ones. Very, very excited to do a bit more Wicked Ones tonight. Been really enjoying this game as much as sometimes there's a little bit of tricky finagling with the book to be done. Most of the time, it's smooth as anything. As I just realised I have no idea where my cheat sheets are. I'll go find them in a minute. So we are Telling Tales. We stream atmospheric roleplay on Twitch here, which you probably know about because you're on Twitch watching us right now. Or you're not. You might be watching this on YouTube, in which case you might not know about it. So it was worth me saying it. So check it out if you're not on Twitch and are on YouTube. And if you are on Twitch, check out YouTube. It's all below. Smooth as butter. We also have social media, Discord, all that jazz. Go check them out below if they interest you as well. And Patreon, thank you very much to our patrons who support us at what we love to do because it's very fun and we appreciate your support. I don't know where I'm going with this. Wicked Ones. Thanks for joining us tonight, folks. I'm very much looking forward to another session. Oh, I should say what else we do on the week as well. That's my other thing. So Mondays is currently Johnny doing Vesson, which is super fun. We're really enjoying that. And Thursday, every other Thursday is currently Wicked Ones. Wednesdays is our flagship. We've been doing it forever. Matt runs Simbaroom, and that's great. Go watch that. We all love that. All the memes come from that. And some weekends we do one-shots. I think next is going to be one of Johnny's Space Thulus. Which will be in a few weeks. I don't know when that is offhand. I'm sure you can find out on the Discord or on Media or something somewhere else. On some other Thursdays we might have other things going on as well, which kind of fluctuates. But check it all out. And there's a whole backlog on YouTube for you to look at as well. Anyway, I've been doing this for long enough. Let's get to the game. So, Wicked Ones. We are playing awful, terrible, horrible monsters trying to ruin the world. Basically, playing the bad guys. That's what Wicked Ones is. So, it is a Forge in the Dark system. So, based on Blades in the Dark. Well, I say based on kind of following using the same system, but where you play bad guys in a dungeon, ruining the world and hiding in your dungeon while people come to try and kill you, which we might see a bit of fairly soon. Quick warning about Wicked Ones. You are playing the bad guys, so death, murder, gore and disemboweling, trickery, theft, all sorts of cruelty and maybe a bit of torture and general evilness may be abound in this. We're not going to linger on it unnecessarily, but it is present. We talked a little bit in the session 0 as well about things we definitely were going to avoid. So if you're curious, you can go check that out beforehand as well. So before I get the players on, just a little bit of background to what's happened with our kind of world creation as well. So we've created this, had a lot of fun creating a world in session 0. It's all very sandboxy. Wicked Ones, you kind of turn up in a place and then together build what's going on in said place. So we've created a load of factions and stuff. Currently, the players are interacting with a particularly nasty vampire, for example. And potentially we'll be interacting with some others as well. They stole a boat from a place called Riverton. Stuff like this is kind of going on in the background of the world. But they have established themselves in a dungeon. And to kind of intro what's been going on recently, we'll bring on Chris. Hey, Chris.
Oh,
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Almost as great as our dungeon.
For now.
So, for now. So last week was kind of, I don't know, is admin day a little bit unfair? We did a lot of work on the actual, maybe DIY day is more, is it better?
I mean, finding a giant snake sounds quite high up for an admin day, I'd say.
Yeah, so that's probably the best thing that happened, because this is one of the things we were doing, we were rolling kind of dungeon events, and I think we rolled a double 6, so this was the best possible thing. And lo and behold, did we meet a new snake friend, Slitherax, who agreed to stay in the dungeon because they understood that we were up to no good and also would provide them a little bit of food. So I think that was the main thing, but lots of little small things got done as well. Myself, Beepo, made some kobold friends by basically tricking them into being my servants with the flimsiest logic ever, but with a whole lot of heart. Uh, while I was also working on some DIY and built a room for my new kind of gang of kobolds. And while doing so, we came across a large room full of powerful magical crystals, which we have not yet even begun to plumb.
Yeah, I believe Sam's character got very excited about the magical crystals.
Quite cool. Some traps and secret passages were formalized. Our moist, friendly, bitey kind of minions kind of took the initiative and built us some new corridors and generally just shuffled things around and made things better. And I suppose in general, what we've been working on, assuming we're not going to get troubled by anything, which we were troubled by several things, but that's beside the point. We were working on our plan to ransack the Wizard's Tower, which is in the middle of the lake. So you mentioned we stole a boat for that. And I would only like to add that these wizards do not yet have a canonical faction name beyond just shit wizards. And they're pretty terrible. And
who knows? They might be known as that.
Yeah. So the only other so we did roll the double six, but we also had a catastrophe as the bridge that kind of leads into the subterranean bridge that leads into our lair collapsed. So that's going to require a little bit of work.
Yep,
but I think that's mostly what we did last week.
I think you did manage to solve the bridge problem, but the body snatcher, Sam's minion, did get injured in the process, and there was a little bit of arguing about that as well. But yeah, I think the bridge came as a small calamity roll, basically because I was a bit mean and said that you've just recruited all these minions and they're just kind of almost pressed into service. And if I remember correctly, they both have the disloyal trait. So it was not necessarily the most stable dungeon at the moment. Yeah, that's a good kind of summary, Chris. And it's just worth saying the other calamity, which we'll come to in a moment, which was rolled in the first session, will be coming to a head right now because that started a clock from one of the other factions in the world that was met right at the beginning, which was a kind of horticultural vampire who basically sent said body snatcher to give an ultimatum to the group. The body snatcher's now been snatched by Sam's character as a minion. But obviously said horticultural vampire didn't really like that. So might have set some vengeance in motion, which we'll be seeing right at the beginning of this session. But anyway, before we get to that, I realize I haven't told the rest of the players who's coming on next. So I'm going to bring on Sam next. Hey, Sam.
Hello.
We usually do that, but I guess now we're just not doing that, and you just got to. It's luck of the draw.
Keep everyone on their toes.
Exactly. Better all be ready.
How
are you doing, Sam? Do you want to intro Osric for us?
So Osric is a demon warlock. He is very interested in the occult. He is a necromancer and is pretty power hungry. I think it's fair to say wants to become more powerful in himself, in his own magic-y way, and then also in terms of, we want to be lords of this valley and make everyone feel terrible all the time because they're bad people. So
yeah, precisely. Seems like a worthy cause.
Exactly. That's what we're all here for.
Exactly. So I think wait, let me bring it up because it was quite a satisfying overall objective for your dungeon. The valley is a source of liquid blight and death. Brackets, lemmings, and alcohol.
Sounds very dark until you read the brackets bit, and then it's a little bit funny.
A little bit less dark, yes. And I should look back to you as well, Chris. Do you want to give a little tiny intro to Beepo as well?
Beepo is indeed little and tiny, a completely unhinged kobold in the traditional and glorious sense of the word, a zealot and servant of the goddess of secrets and magic, and just generally all round terrifying, very large brain in a very small space.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I would be thrown off and think Beepo was adorable for about 3 seconds and then realize Beepo was actually the most terrifying person in this group of terrifying people. Cool. Let's bring on Steve next. Hey, Steve.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Oh, okay, I guess. Yes.
Good. You want to bring on Terrace? Bring on Terrace, Steve.
Yes,
just
okay.
yeah. You want to intro Terrace for us?
Yes. So Tereth is a demon conniver. So basically enjoys talking people into doing terrible things, lying a lot, sometimes telling awful truths. Just basically having a bit of fun. Nice banter, light-hearted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What could be more fun than crushing someone horribly and ruthlessly like you did last session to Osric?
Oh, that was mere irritation, really. That wasn't sort of,
It's funny because I feel like although Osric's like a totally evil monster, I feel like Osric was about this close to just going having a little cry and hugging a book in the corner.
The last thing in my notes is just Tereth's been mean to me.
Oh, that's fun.
Amazing. Suddenly 12. Cool, perfect. Let's bring on John last but not least.
Hello.
Hey John. Do you want to do as a wee intro to Slee then?
Yeah, Slee is a Slisek shadow. Slisek is the type of snake people who populate some of the dungeons of Wicked Ones. And the shadow is the sneaky rogue. They are very passionate about eating things. Was willing to boldly step in and dispose of the potentially incapacitated body snatcher last week, and was also very, not threatened, actually quite happy to make a fellow reptilian, fellow meat-loving friend.
Totally not threatened immediately by a snake much larger than you. It could potentially swallow you whole.
No, of course not.
Why would that be threatening?
That's just like going home for the holidays, you know?
Hey, Dad, don't eat me. Amazing. Cool. Thank you, John. So, just before we get into the start session, we did agree it might be nice to note this as well. So, something I should have done a wee while ago was the world turns. So, basically, all of the factions on the map. I'll tell you what, worth bringing up the map as well, John, if you've got a moment. All of the factions on the map have sorry, I said that while you were drinking tea, and now I just feel awful. Have agendas, basically. They have objectives of their own. So I've got a thing, the game doesn't specify this, but I've got a thing where every time you raid, time has passed, so they have a chance to roll them. So I finally got around to doing the rolls for that. And some of them have done not very much of nothing, but a few of them have moved like significantly forward on this. I've just kind of judged it based on how much they want the things really, given what the rolls can do. So I rolled them all. Of significance, Riverton up there, not far from you, because the players are in the little ruin north of the Witches, the woodland of the Witches. You can see it on the riverbank there. So Riverton's just north of that. They have got halfway to making a treaty with the gnome racketeers. The gnomes are kind of southeast there, who have the river crossing all themselves. So that's quite significant. Riverton are one of the most powerful groups in the valley, and they're kind of big on trade. Slightly less seriously, the Wild Witches, just to the south of the players, are halfway to uplifting a new creature. I'm going to roll the dice for that, although I'm a little bit tempted to just make it a duck. We'll see.
We did discuss this pre-stream, and feet were put down about potential uplifted creatures.
I still think I might roll it, just because it'll probably give me something really obscure. The Animal Farm, which is kind of in the middle there, just at the bottom of the forest, is a tavern literally run by uplifted animals, because the witches just can't help but continue uplifting, apparently. Is halfway to reopening their tavern, which is very exciting. And finally, perhaps most significantly, the Weiraccoon tribes are two significant kind of allied, kind of sometimes fight each other tribes. Weiraccoons to the north of Starvington in the woods. They raid Starvington all the time. That's normal for them. But they're actually halfway to preparing a great raid on the Northern Brewery, because the Northern Brewery is much more powerful. So that could be quite significant. We'll see. I'm telling this because the game specifically has no secrets. It's set up so that players know everything. The Wicked Ones obviously don't. The Wicked Ones don't really know very much at all that's going on the surface at the moment. But Wicked Ones have a habit of fortuitously falling into the most, perfect possible circumstance to mess things up as neatly as they can, effectively. So that's kind of how the game plays that out. Oh wait, there's this thing going on, and we just happen to be at the brewery in the middle of this fight. That sort of thing. Of course, that could happen in 2 or 3 more raids from now. We don't know how the dice are going to land, so can't guarantee anything. But that's kind of how this works. I think that's quite a clever way of doing it as well. Everything's revealed. You can use the information as you will. Cool. Anyway. So I think we strip. No, let's go back to we'll get rid of that, and then I'll put the dungeon map up in a few moments. First of all, now you're all in your sanctum because that's the place you normally hang out. You don't do dungeony things. That's beneath you, or above you, but beneath you, if you see what I mean, because the sanctum is below. But you're in your. I'll give the bit of description of the dungeon because it's nice. Dark whispers, illusions. Foggy with thunder. That's thunder and lightning. That's kind of the area around the dungeon as we described it. The dungeon itself is spooky, the slightly warm stone to the touch, covered in blue and green lichens with a misty haze, and it's full of bioluminescent mushrooms. And as you go deeper in the dungeon, there's this unsettling low hum that never seems to dissipate. Yes, so this session, or at least the beginning of the session, with the thing that's coming, you are all in your sanctum. The game has a thing where basically the characters are too important to be involved in the defense or maintenance of the dungeon. So we all play the dungeon itself now, if you see what I mean. So we'll kind of play together. Different people can make roles for different items in the dungeon. It has a thing where you're supposed to be responsible for them, but I might just go around in a circle for who makes those roles because it's kind of over the top to have responsibility, I thought. So you are, or outside of the dungeon, not that you can see this, but we'll describe it, stands a monstrous, nearly 10-foot being. It seems to stand on 3 legs. It's bloated and slightly malformed. It doesn't really look like any sort of, mammalian creature or something. It looks totally different, or I suppose that would be unfair to Slee, perhaps. It looks utterly different from any sort of animal. As you kind of, not that you're doing this, as the view pans closer, you see it's actually got fronds, kind of dead fronds. It's got no green on it, but it's got a kind of faint, unpleasant green glow coming from inside it. And it turns and it's got these kind of sickly eyes dotted all on the front, or at least you presume they're eyes. They've just got a glow in them. And then in where would be the belly, a giant maw of some sort. So maybe this thing eats, but it seems to be made of wood. That's what you would guess as the dungeon views this. It's really weird narrating when I know you're not seeing it as player characters. So I think now's probably the right time to bring up the dungeon map. This thing is absolutely, it's not fast. It's just walking at a steady pace, knowing absolutely where to go, marching straight into the entrance of the dungeon. Thank you, John. John's done a lovely updated version of the map, which I think we'll all agree looks excellent. Good work, John. And we've had some updates this last session. We did some stuff with the dungeon, like slither rats and bats and adding more tunnels and all sorts. They are now on the map, whereas we hadn't got that sorted last time. So this monster is coming down those first set of stairs at the far left of the map there. Now, the very first thing we do is decide where minions are. So, Beepo and Osric, you have minions, don't you?
Yep.
Cool. So, you both go ahead and roll 1 dice to tell me where your minions are. Well, how sensible their locations are. How helpful.
I rolled a 3, which is a failure.
Failure.
We both rolled a 3.
Both fails. Okay, so your minions are both in terrible places for being helpful here. Where do we think your minions are? Well, I would suggest one of them is in the minion lair at the back, because that's pretty useless. Asleep. Should we say that?
I think that's where my where the kobolds will be, because that's their lair.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, and they probably had a long journey, and maybe they only just got back, and they've finally got somewhere relatively warm and comfortable, so they're just flat out. Makes sense. What about your necromancer, Osric? What do you think he might be doing? So I say not Osric now, you're Sam.
I'm not sure. He is bloodied. already. I don't know where would be worst. Like minion layer 2 also seems pretty out of the way. Like, but
yeah, to be honest, it's probably no, it was the other one, John, but it doesn't really matter too much.
No, we specified
because basically they're in the order of which minion we got. So Sam got the minion first.
Okay, I mean, minion layer 1 is, I think neither of the minion layers really protect our sanctum in any.
No, they don't.
Anyway,
I mean, I quite like the idea that maybe because this is very unhelpful for you, right? Maybe he's awake, but he's investigating the gems, so they're all in the same place effectively. That would be unhelpful. So that makes sense to me.
I mean, the other way you could go with unhelpful is that he's like at the front of the dungeon and about to get absolutely murdered easily by this giant tree monster.
I quite like that. I'm going to roll a 50-50 for which is most unhelpful. Just like completely unawares, yeah. Okay, yeah, he's by the front of the dungeon, completely unawares.
Like here or like here?
No, on the stairs. He's like sitting facing into the dungeon, not looking out on the stairs.
Already injured.
I wonder if this creature would recognize him though. That's an interesting idea.
Now, why would he recognize him, Sam?
Because and this is fair knowledge I can share with you, this calamity came about from the vampire that you originally made very angry at the start, both by kind of not accepting and then much more by stealing the body snatcher from them. So said vampire had a clock that was very rapidly ticked by Osric's stealing of said body snatcher, and now vampire has come for vengeance with their tier 2 monstrous plant creature that they have created. This creature is tier 2, which means it rolls engagement at advantage. I will do that right now. Well, at advantage, basically. Means it rolls 3 dice against you? Yes, would be 3 dice against you. Only gets a mixed. Which I think means the body snatcher is going to have a chance to do something. Although he's still going to be... No, I'll give the body snatcher a chance. So the plant creature has, because it's an adventurer, it has health, it has moves, and it has lots of other cool things that it can do. We won't get into all that just now. They're actually things that allow me to act, whereas in the normal game, I only react to what the player characters do. But I will, because the plant creature isn't going to choose to use one of its moves on the body snatcher. It doesn't think he's particularly intimidating. It's just going to try and pick him up to just carry, because it's like, well, I'll just carry him for later. Take him back with me once I've dealt with this place, basically. So give me a single dice roll for your body snatcher. Whatever you think would be a good dice roll to resist this. I'm not going to make it a single dice roll.
I don't think he has anything that particularly will help him. He has Skulk, but I feel like that's already failed as part of his role to start with. Like Scan, but I mean, I think none. So it's going to be something like, I guess, Smash as is, or maybe like Threaten. But
if he has a scan, if he has a point in scan, you can roll a scan to basically notice before being grabbed.
Okay, I'll try that.
He definitely can't skulk because of the situation he's in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll try a scan. Here's 1 dice. That's a 4. So a mixed.
Okay, so he's going to be grabbed, but he's going to have the chance to yell.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, the kobolds are so far away that unless you roll a 6 on this yell, they're not going to hear.
Okay.
But do you have a... I mean, I would be willing to let you spend your thingy if you have a thingy to spend for your minion.
I think he does. I think he does have a thingy.
Given this might be the end of it.
A morale. He has a morale. So can I spend that for a dice? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's now... Well, is there a particular thing I should be rolling to shout?
Unless you can see something that's a good skill.
He does not have like banter would be the only thing that I would think,
No,
and he
go on,
doesn't
roll
have that.
threaten. You find it. Oh, it's threaten also a 0.
He also doesn't have threaten. So I'm gonna roll 1 dice, I guess, if you get using the morale.
Even with your
1
morale.
dice needs a 6. Okay, please. That's a 6.
Amazing. Okay. Chris, you're playing your kobold. Your kobold hear the body snatcher yell. What does the body snatcher yell, Osric? You can play your minions. This is as he's being lifted up.
I don't know if he yells. Well, mate, I think he'd just be like, "Ah!" Like, what else are you gonna yell, really? Like,
Yeah,
he's
fair,
got
fair.
unawares. I don't even think he knows what has picked him up, really.
And then quite briskly, like some horrible woody tendril vines wrap around his neck and his face, so he can't yell any longer. And he's just held there by the thing because it sees him as no threat and figures it'll just take it back with him after he's done. Him back with it. Chris, your kobolds hear that distantly in their lair. So one of them's woken up, let's say.
Okay, I think they're going to. I mean, these are dungeon veterans. They lived in the old dungeon where our wicked ones came from originally, and have kind of tailed Beepo over the months that they moved further and further north. So they know what's going on. They know this is danger. So they're going to rouse each other, and maybe excitedly yipping barrel towards the front of the dungeon.
Cool. Okay, so we'll say they're in the library for now, or they're down there. They're kind of gathering in that tunnel. No, it'll probably take them a bit to gather weapons and other bits. So they're still in the lair.
Yeah.
We'll see how this goes with time. Okay, so first of all, now we kind of do a thing to say, where does it move? So pathing. When there's a fork in the path, ask the players which way they want the adventurer to go and make a fortune roll. On a miss or a success, they go the way the players want. On a failure, they go the other way. Something tells me you want them to go up, north.
I will. Yes. Never mind. I was going to say that there's a trick door there that was put in there with the intention of directing them north.
That's true. How does the trick door work? Can someone explain to me? I can't remember who put the trick door in.
That's a very good question.
Maybe this is why you put them down on your sheet. That's a good point.
Maybe. It doesn't have the mechanics down on it though. My god!
I was kind of presuming that, wasn't it like that the Cordyceps Hall there was no end to it, so it just didn't seem...
a fake ending to make it look like you can continue.
There was something beyond it, because we wanted people to travel the depth of the hall.
So it's like there's a door at the end of the hallway with some lights to it. Okay, that makes sense to me. So basically, now this creature has the mindless trait, which means I think really enticing things don't work so well to it. But I still think there's a slightly better chance it will go north than east, just because it's more obvious, because you made it more obvious. So I'm going to weight the dice slightly for fortune roll. So it's basically going to be a 2 in 6 chance it goes across the bridge. It goes north towards the Cordyceps. And the creature shambles down those stairs into that hallway, and the Cordyceps, I think they're probably slightly, they're used to eating flesh, but whatever this is, it shouldn't be here. So nonetheless, they attack it. The horrifying, zombified corpses of previous adventurers and others who have been here, animated by the fungus that grows around you. Who wants to roll for the Cordyceps?
I'll go for it.
Go for it. Cool. Do we have the Cordyceps were poisonous and something else, weren't they? Horrifying. Neither of which I think are too relevant, so that's fine.
I've got corrupted and terrifying written down here.
Corrupted and terrifying. Okay, the corrupted will be useful.
So just rolling the 1 dice?
Yeah, just the 1. So
One
the tier
die.
1s give you 1 die.
That's a 1.
Okay, that means the Cordyceps simply do not recognize this thing as something to consume.
It's a tree.
Exactly. So that makes sense to me. I was kind of going to roleplay that anyway. So a 1 could be they're defeated, but in this case, I think they're just not interested. That makes logical narrative sense. which is kind of lucky for you because if it was obvious they'd be defeated, then I would have had them be stopped there. But that makes more narrative sense in my book. Cordyceps don't recognize, and quickly the shambling creature reaches the end of the hallway, basically batters against the door, realizes it's a stone wall, and just turns around to go back up the hallway and stumble up those stairs. But the kobolds are now ready with their little clubs and tiny shanks out and are probably in the library. Chris, do you want them to keep moving or do you want them to stay in the library?
I mean, tactically, they should probably set up an ambush, but they're not really all that clever, and they're very excitable. So I think they're just going to run forward and try and welcome our guest.
Cool, sounds good. I will happily give you a bad ambush. It's up to you.
I think bad ambush is actually perfect. Maybe quite obviously whispering conspiratorially,
Okay, cool.
hiding badly around a corner.
So maybe they're behind that door at the moment, deciding what to do. Does that make sense? Sorry, John.
Yeah.
It's true to be on the door. Perfect. Cool. So the creature gets to the bridge. Now, is the bridge itself a tier 1 something? As in it actually prevents them doing, or is it just...
Not yet.
Okay, cool. The bridge, they walk across the bridge. I think the bridge probably trembles because they're like 10 foot and giant, but does not break.
I mean, the bridge has been very recently built. Remember that.
Out of shells, I think.
Yeah.
By imps.
Go on then, if you can get a single 6. No. It's not a trap. That would be pushing it anyway.
Yeah.
The creature stomping down the hallway sees the door up ahead and the hallway to the right. And as it's making its decision, a little sign comes hanging from the ceiling that says, "Oh, don't you want to go and investigate that way? Miss Treasure." Who wants a roll to persuade this mindless monster to go down that hallway?
I'll give it a go. Go on.
You're going to need a success or a crit to have any effect here. A mix won't do anything because it's mindless.
Great. Is how many dice?
Just one. All the tier 1s give you 1 dice. So the only thing that's higher is Slitherax in this.
I rolled a 4.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, unfortunately, because this thing is mindless, it pays no heed. So it's a pure random roll which way it goes. I'm assuming you would rather it went to the south.
I think so.
Yes. So let's see if it is a success. It's a failure. It's going to pile straight into that door. Now it's going to try. It's going to have to use a move to get through the door, but I think it will because it's decided that now. What was that? That was okay. So it's only a mixed, but that means it does succeed eventually. But it takes a long time to battle through this door. So I think your kobolds, Chris, have had a lot of time to prepare now. They've seen this door kind of bending and battering, and they're in, even though they're inept, they're in a pretty good position.
Yep, I'll certainly take that.
Eventually, the door gives way and is broken. Do you want to note an X on the door, John? That needs to be repaired or something. And I think it's only fair your kobolds get to act first. What are you going to do?
Have him!
And you can use dice and other things if you want to use if they have morale and stuff like that. Go ahead, go for it.
I don't think they do have morale.
Oh, because they haven't rested yet.
They haven't rested, and they only have 1 dice, but
I'm going to give you engagement. I'm going to give it an even engagement. No, I'm actually going to give you a bonus for engagement because we said it's been a long time on the door and this is an ambush. So you're actually going to get a good engagement roll. Even. And it's still only a mix. So it's even situation effectively. No bonus dice.
Okay, so is that me rolling my 1 dice then for the clobbering?
Go ahead.
Oh, hooray!
Oh, amazing.
That's a 6.
Okay. So this thing is going to resist because it's an adventurer. Attempt to resist. Okay, it's a mixed. Which means it takes... Yeah, basically that means it still takes 1. It reduces the effect. 1 hit point removed. Narrate your kobolds attacking the thing.
Oh, it's a pylon. It's utter garbage. It's chaos. There's a lot of yipping. It's very excited. It sounds almost like a party. But amongst all of the flailing limbs, probably one or two of them get batted away into a corner and seem unhappy about the prospect. But at least a few of them get like little shanks and hatchets and start chipping away bits of this shambling abomination.
Amazing. I love it. Now the creature is going to use a defensive ability. It's going to use Toxic Fumes, which uses another one of its moves. And it releases a putrid, oozing, stinking like material from that gaping maw in the middle of it. Something that the kobolds definitely don't want to be breathing in, or anywhere near. It only gets a mixed. So that means you can't resist with minions, so they will still take the harm, but just the 1 slash for your kobolds, and that means it does not get that back. Only 1 move left for this thing. So your kobolds are beaten back. I think they will flee in a random direction or a particular direction, Chris. Back to their lair, maybe?
I think they might go and seek shelter with Slitheraxe.
That seems sensible. So the kobolds kind of there's like a faint hissing sound coming from their flesh. The ones that were too near to the thing anyway, as they flee towards Slitheraxe, screaming and whining. I think that's time because Slitheraxe is sentient. To see what Slitheraxe chooses to do, because usually creatures just stay in their lair, but Slitheraxe is sentient. I think Slitheraxe has probably been sleeping up to now. Okay, so it's a 3. So Slitheraxe is slow to react for now. Okay, now we've got Fork in the Road. We've actually got a 3-way fork because the secret tunnel will not be automatically noticed because there's open routes to be seen. Unless they have like trap sense or trick sense, then they don't automatically notice them and they have to do a move to notice them, and they wouldn't bother now because they can see other routes. So is there any way, I mean, I presume you'd rather they went south, right?
Cool. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, it doesn't really matter what I ask you because it's probably a, third each way, isn't it? So I don't really need to do a mix. So 4, that will be straight on into Minion Lair 2. Is that? I'm trying to figure out if the windy tunnel will be a fork that it would go down as well. It probably would, wouldn't it? I can't see why it wouldn't go. Maybe I should go this way. The random tunnels.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll roll for that one too. That's bad, so it does not go that way. It goes into Minion Lair 2, which is empty. And the monster will just start tearing that place to shreds because there's stuff in here that it can tear to shreds. It didn't attack the library because there was that room was effectively, there was nothing in it. It was already ransacked. It will not regain any health for this, but your Minion Lair 2, the Kobold Lair, has been destroyed and needs to be remade again.
Boo.
Now, the Gem Chamber would actually have an effect here. It would blind a regular creature. However, I've actually got that this creature is already blind. So it doesn't help you. I'm sorry. So it's going to wander back into the main library. 50-50?
Almost as if you've plotted this somehow.
I think go on.
Does it wander towards the library and then does it have another choice on whether to go down the fork?
Yeah, it's going to now go to Slitheraxe or the minion. Oh, that way. Yeah, true. You're right. It would. So it's going to either go back to the library or down that tunnel.
Like, it's all empty, so it's only a question of how much time does it spend randomly wandering around the tunnel.
But Slitheraxe. Okay, this time it decides to go down those tunnels. I'm playing it more random because this one's mindless. If this was a person, it would probably be more conscious. But I think Slitheraxe has time to act, and I'm happy for someone to take Slitheraxe on if they want. Does someone want to act for Slitheraxe? Who wants to take on?
It has to be John, really, doesn't it?
I don't want to jump in. Yeah.
Snake Alliance.
Don't have legs. How can you jump?
Snakes can jump surprisingly well, actually. Some of them anyway. Kind of coil up. Anyway.
Right. I guess Slitheraxe is gonna move out into the library and start tracking down this tree thing. Because he doesn't know that it's a tree, so it could be good eating.
I think Slitherax, kind of with the tongue tasting the air, can detect the direction this thing has gone from all the horrible fumes, and can detect that this thing is not good eating. But it's in the library right now. Still doesn't want something to destroy its home, so you know.
Yeah, that's the point. We have promised to feed him, so there's at least some incentive. So yeah, I think he's go for it.
I was going to eventually the creature's going to march back down, coming slowly tromping down that hallway. So it's what is Slitherax doing to prepare?
I'm actually trying to think, would Slitherax just wait in the library? Or if he follows it down the tunnels, it would be cornering his prey?
Yeah, that seems quite snaky, doesn't it?
Does it? I don't really know.
I think a snake is likely to go down a tunnel. The snakes seem like they're quite good in tunnels. I don't know. Would you like me to roll a dice to decide for Slitherax, John?
I think sneaking up on your prey is more snaky than lying in wait for an ambush.
Yeah.
Any snake experts in chat, I'm really sorry.
Okay, Slitherax is going to sneak. Slitherax will definitely have 2 dice in sneak. Or whatever it is, lurk, if that's what it is. And I'm going to do another engagement for this. And I think I'm going to make it a 50-50 for this one. Because while Slitherax... No. Yes, because I might give you a bonus dice. Sorry, I'm just deciding things. It's a mixed, so yeah, no bonus dice.
I roll a 2 and a 5.
Another mixed. Okay, so Slitherax does catch the creature off guard, but the creature also kind of catches Slitherax off guard. So I'll say Slitherax does get the chance for a first attack, but there's not going to be any bonus for an effective attack or anything.
Okay.
So are you just Slitherax, just gonna leap at the thing and try and munch it, or maybe bat at it with a tail if you don't want to risk the munching part?
He's down a tunnel. I don't think he can get round with his tail.
Slitherax is very big.
He might try and chomp it and then drag it out.
Cool, that makes sense.
The chomping is the first step.
Okay, Slitherax is giant. You have 3 dice for the actual chomping part, I think. You roll first, and then I'll see if I resist.
2, 3, and a 5. So another mixed.
Just a mixed. Okay, the creature is going to resist. Attempt to resist. Critical. Double 6. Okay.
Oh no, Slitherax.
That means that it gains a move back. And then it's going to use one of its attacks. It's going to use Whirlwind Slash on Slitherax. And that's going to be 3 dice. And it rolls a total failure. So I think the tunnel is too small, and it's just kind of flailing about and getting stuck and not really able to actually get a proper attack in. So that move is now wasted. I think Slitherax... Well, it's up to you, John. Does Slitherax stay and try and do the same thing again, or is Slitherax going to back out a bit at this point? Maybe seeing the thing stuck, actually, you're going to try and just do it.
Yeah,
again.
see if there's a chance to strike while it's
Go for it.
busy. 3 dice. Oh, 6.
6, nice. Okay, so Slitherax is not going to take any damage for that. And that will be 2 hit points from the creature. What does Slitherax do? Wait, sorry.
Do you mean how does he attack?
It's going to try and resist again. Because it can. That was a failure, so that's its last resist as well. Yes, how does it attack? How does he attack? What does Slitherax do?
He, curls back and then snaps forward. It sticks his jaw around, one of the 3 legs and, tries to drag its weight out from under it.
Nice. I think this thing is probably heavier than Slitherax expects. It weighs loads, but nonetheless, Slitherax is large and men just kind of half drag it, partly out the tunnel, and has clearly hurt the thing. Like a putrescent something is leaking out of it, and it's making kind of a constant sort of deep moaning noise now, which is rather unsettling. I like to imagine the wicked ones in the sanctum now, kind of. I know. I kind of imagine them playing cards on the table, just going.
Yeah, I was just thinking playing cards.
Is the dungeon drone different today?
Yeah. That's amazing.
I mean, can we hear anything? Doesn't the dungeon muffle the sound?
I
it
think
muffles sound.
mechanically we can't hear anything until stuff.
That's true. Although it does specify often the wicked ones know that what's going on above, but you don't act anyway because it's beneath you. You cannot, your minions would immediately desert if they saw you acting for this sort.
Oh god,
This is below
see.
your. It's all about having station, having your
How
rulers
can
of
it
this.
be
like
place.
beneath us? How can it be beneath us when it's literally above us?
Yes, I know, Chris. It's like the king doesn't come to the gate when some soldiers come to try and break in, does he? That's the sort of thing. Okay, so this thing, now it's been dragged out a bit. It's going to see if it can. It's going to use its third ability, throw an enemy, which I think is hilarious for Slitherax. It's going to try and heft Slitherax off itself and throw Slitherax crashing across the library.
I mean, that's going to be very difficult.
It's got a success.
Okay. Can Slitherax try and resist that? What with being a giant snake?
Slitherax cannot. Slitherax is the equivalent of a creature or a minion. I'm sorry. So Slitherax is launched, crashing across the library.
Steve looks outraged.
Shelves are sent flying, and Slitherax will take 1 wound and will go slithering back into his lair.
I almost feel as if this game is set against us somehow.
You've done really well against this thing, actually. You've almost got it down now. Yeah, you've done 3 or 4 health. Okay, so it goes back out into the library. I think it doesn't want to follow Slitherax. I think it actively chooses to go to the top minion lair instead. But there's nothing in its way, and there's no one up there, so it's going to creep back into that minion lair and creep onto that minion lair and just smash the place up because it doesn't know where else to go now.
Is it holding the body snatcher during all this?
Yeah, it's still holding him.
But it's not doing anything useful.
Imagine how big it is. Imagine how big it is. It's like 10 feet and like 3 foot wide. The body snatcher is the equivalent of holding holding a small backpack, and it's got multiple limbs that kind of seem to flail and grow. So it's not really affecting it in any realistic way. But do you want to, for fun, Sam? Do you want to try and the body snatcher could try and do something at this point if you like, since you brought him up?
Okay. I mean, he has invoke, so some level of spell casting stuff.
Sure. What's he going to do? It's a real shame he's not a pyromancer at a time like this, isn't it?
I mean, invoking woodworm would be quite...
I love it. Rot. Yeah, that sounds quite undead, doesn't it? Quite necromancery.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he has necromancy. If he's anything, he's necromancy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He could do wither, a burst of necrotic energy saps vigor.
Yeah. Sap the vigor of this thing. That sounds likely. I like the idea of that. Go on then, make me your invoke.
Good fun with the
tree word, so we should get a bonus.
Oh.
Yeah.
One die. That's a 1. This body touches. He sucks. He's a terrible minion.
Well, to be fair, his mouth is currently like grabbed by the thing. He just wiggles about a bit and just goes, and nothing really happens. And then you hear him go, because that's apparently all he can do. So the creature has now trashed the top minion layer, comes back through to the library. I think it is going to search the room before it goes down to Slitherax now. Just given that it doesn't want to go back down there because it now knows it's wounded. So I'm going to make a roll, but I'm going to make it... Actually, I'm going to make a pretty bad roll for it because it's specifically got mindless and blind, which seems like they'd be quite bad for searching for a secret tunnel. But it rolls a 6. Okay, then. So
it's like the idea that Osric suddenly gets a sensation that someone's messing up all his books.
I love it. So the creature flails about and almost like falls into the secret tunnel. That's how it basically ends up happening. It's like just flailing on the walls, and then kind of one of the stones partly gives way, and it kind of the tunnel opens up a little bit, and it just collapses, sort of breaking its way down there, if you see what I mean, and ends up in the entrance to your sanctum. Okay, now we're going to make the engagement roll. So I think I'm going to make a good...
Wait. before it reaches the sanctum, we have a trap in that secret tunnel.
That's the unfinished one?
Yeah, that's only one tick of 4.
Sorry,
because I was being all fancy about it, you know. So
it's a tier,
I-
tier 2.
yeah,
I
you can't
redact my
you can't
objection.
rush. You can't rush craftsmanship.
Okay, you have a 3 dice engagement roll though, because this thing has been fighting very loudly. It's clearly not at all stealthy, and it's just fallen down a secret tunnel. So you got a pretty good chance of being pretty aware this is going on. It's only a mixed, so that means you're in kind of a middling situation. You're not necessarily aware, but you're not caught totally off guard with your pants down, if you see what I mean. So that means it stumbles in before you act. So a hideous smell and a kind of deep, constant moaning sound are the first things your player characters, who are all awake and have weapons close by, notice as this creature kind of shambles in, probably breaking down a door as it comes into your sanctum. What are you all doing? Should I volunteer someone?
I'm going to immediately dive for cover and try to not be noticed.
Fair.
Do we know this thing's been coming, or are we?
The fact that it was a mixed engagement roll means no. Maybe you've gone, that's an odd sound. That's all the awareness that you had.
Osric, in that case, is running for his staff.
Cool. It's worth saying as well, it's terrifying. Like, this is a monstrous thing. Oh, and you can see it's holding the body snatcher too.
I'm just almost tempted to do a magic about it, in fairness. Oh, we've run out of other player characters. No, if I'd had more time to think about this and prepared, I should have been thinking about it and preparing it, but I was too busy having fun with my kobolds. So I think Beepo is also going to be the kobold instinct is going to take over, and Beepo's just going to swing at it with their stick
immediately. I love it. Cool. And Tereth, are you kind of leaping for cover as well in surprise, or do you think you have another plan in this moment?
Maybe, depending on this is one of the interesting things of this system, is that because there's nothing specifically defined and you can just invent stuff, it's always kind of hard to tell what you can do. So I've got an idea.
What do you want to do? Yeah, go for it.
I've no idea whether this will work in practice or cause significant calamity, but hey, I guess we can. So my idea was that I haven't got anything down in my supply yet. So you can just invent things. You can invent 2 things per.
Yep, absolutely.
Whatever. So I was going to say that Tereth it was in the sanctum, playing some cards or whatever, and drinking from a flask containing really quite strong liquor, whiskey, spirit.
Yep, that's fine.
It's probably not drinkable by humans.
Yeah, you can have this as one of your supply. That's perfectly fair. And a candle nearby by any chance?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah. So I was going to take a big mouthful of this and then spit it over the tree thing.
Amazing. Are you doing this completely instinctively, immediately upon seeing it, with no care whatsoever for how close Beepo might be? Or are you doing it with some caution for Beepo's deranged swing of the stick? I will give you more damage potential and more advantage if you're not worrying about Beepo.
Is Chris egging me on to just go wild, or is that
the kobold more fire? Yip, murder.
Okay, then I will throw caution to the wind and. Oh well, yes. I guess we have to figure out dice because there is the whole go hard thing, isn't there?
There is. I think I'd almost make the case that this isn't. You couldn't not be going hard at this point.
Sure. Yeah. So yes, let's figure out
What
I
possible
actually
skill
roll.
could this be? Like an agility style thing? I don't know.
I mean, I'm doing myself I'm boxing myself into a corner because I don't have finesse as a skill.
What
But
do you have anything that might be? I love the idea of
No,
using
not
this as
really.
like a talking skill.
I'm not really sure banter works for spitting
I think that
flammable
might be
liquids.
pushing it.
I'm happy to, I'm happy to go with finesse because the other things just burst in here. It was instinctive, I had a mouthful of booze. But I will sort of add to it with various things.
You can add because you're using a piece of your kit, so that's fine.
Oh, right. Okay. I'd forgot about that.
Add for the going hard.
Right.
In some cases, equipment allowed to do things it couldn't do, but I think in this case, it's obvious it's a more dice to me as well because it's an exceptional thing you're doing with it. So you've got the go hard, you've got the that, and I will also give you another dice. Yeah, good idea. We can take the map away now. I will also give you another dice for not caring about Beepo's safety.
Okay, so I would be starting with rolling 2 and taking the lowest.
0, effectively.
So, is that still 3 dice? Does that work? You're giving me 3 extra dice.
Yes, that sounds right.
Wow. Okay.
But if you started on 0, that takes you from 1 to 2. Yeah, that does take you 3. Sorry, of course. Yeah, 0 plus 3 is 3.
So this is item plus go hard plus not caring about Beepo's safety.
Got to reward wicked ones doing wicked things. Don't roll a total fail on this though, because that might be really bad for Beepo.
Well, now I could go.
In fact, total fail might be quite bad for Tareth. So I don't know if you've ever tried to.
I haven't. Yeah, this could be really. I mean, I am a demon, so I'm kind of hoping that someone.
The monster arrives and Terra starts burning down the dungeon and explodes himself.
Are demons immune to fire in this world?
I guess we'll find out. Let's find out together.
I have to shake my head. Is that really a failure, Steve?
I rolled 2 1s and a 3.
Oh gosh. Well, my original plan, which I think is more fun, I think you do succeed at spitting fire, but you have no aim whatsoever, and it just bathes Beepo in fire. You don't hit the thing at all. Beepo is just engulfed in flaming liquor.
Oh my god! I'm
but
so
Beepo,
sorry, Beepo.
You're in the process of swinging your stick. You can still swing the stick. And you know what? I'll even give you a bonus because the stick's probably on fire, but you're going to hurt a lot after this.
I do get my practice XP for finesse.
That's magic. Oh gosh. Go on, Chris.
Okay, let's see. Where are we going and what are we pumping into this? So what's go hard is a stress for an extra dice, yeah?
Yes. I think so. Is that right?
It says the short notes is trade effect for position.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. It's basically more risky. So you're in a worse position, but you have the chance to do more.
I'm already on fire. Maybe let's not tempt fate any further.
You're already in a dire situation. If you went again, you'd be in a deadly situation. So yeah.
And now suddenly you're cautious.
There's a dark heart, which I think you might have.
Yeah.
And there is also a dark bargain.
I think the dark heart goes into this. So that's 2 dice already.
I'm wondering if I could give you a bargain.
I'm just thinking, would I take a bargain? Is there
a bargain I could think of offering though? What could I trade you for? I'm not going to make it deadly because that's a bit dull.
The stick might get obliterated.
They'll find another stick.
Yeah, that's the problem, really. So maybe the dark bargain could be somewhat hidden, and in the kind of spirit of Wicked Ones, I'm going to tell you my plan for this creature is to do a ritual on it and basically turn it to our side once we finish beating it up. So maybe the dark bargain is something relating to a bad outcome from that.
That sounds good to me. That's a very, very neat way of playing it out. Perfect. Okay, so you're thwacking it first. And
Yeah,
yes,
so
you have
I'm
a
going
dark
to take.
bargain.
So Dark Barden, Dark Heart, and a thwack. So that is 3 dice.
Nice.
All of our minions are going to be so disloyal.
This one's mindless. There's no such thing as disloyal. Unreliable.
Yeah, so there is a 6 in there somewhere.
Nice. Cool. Okay, so that means you deal 2 damage because that's how many damage that is. It cannot resist because it is out. That takes it to -1 health, which will finish it off. However, this creature has a passive, which is keeps fighting even when it should be dead. So it's going to have a chance for 1 more swing before it goes down. The flaming beast, you basically thwack it right in its maw, Beepo, with your flaming stick. You're all flaming. We'll get to the effects of you flaming later. And like there's this horrible kind of, it's like a wet crunching noise, like you've hit something. It's like more like flesh, actually, oddly enough. Like you've hit like an actual heart or an organ or something. It's really kind of strange. And whatever it is breaks, and the whole thing kind of crumples in two and falls forward. The unconscious body snatcher just flops into the room as he let go. But the creature will flail out one last time with its tentacles. And I'm going to make this totally random. Although who said they were actually hiding? Slee and Osric said they were actively hiding. So I'm going to weight it slightly against you two. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, Tereth. It's going to use a final whirlwind slash upon you.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it rolls a 6. So you can resist.
I think resisting sounds like a good idea.
I think that would be a good idea.
How the hell does resisting?
Otherwise you'll be bloodied for the whole of the raid.
No, that doesn't sound great at all. No. Okay.
Yeah, so resist is you use stress, and if you succeed, you mitigate it all. If you critical, you mitigate it all and don't spend a stress, or you regain stress, I think. And if you fail, if you get a mixed, you only prevent some of it, so you get a slightly worse
50,
effect.
isn't it? Yes.
Yes, and then if a failure, you just spend the stress and have nothing.
Right. Choose an action and roll its rating to resist a consequence. Can I say that I use scan to watch for its incoming attack? Would that work?
Yeah, that's fair. Scan seems fair.
And can you use dark hearts on resist rolls, or is it just?
I honestly don't know.
We do have a raid coming up, so maybe all of us shouldn't spend their dark hearts.
Hang on. Yes, they're not action rolls. I'm going to guess that you can't. That's just a gut feeling.
I can also see that being logical, because it kind of makes sense for a dark heart.
I'll just roll 2. I rolled a 1 and a 5.
Mixed.
So that is a mixed, which means
okay. So you reduce the impact.
2 stress to partially resist the consequence.
Cool. Okay, so you will not take a harm, but instead you will take an impact to one of your stats, because that's the only thing that will matter now. So I don't actually have a character sheet, so I never know what the stats are offhand.
I can read them out.
Yes, that would be handy.
So there's the
Ones
3 categories. The 3 categories are brains, muscles, and guts. I have a point in. It feels like a muscles thing, really.
It does, yeah. Brains, muscles, guts. Yeah, I think it'll be a muscles thing.
I do have a point in skulk.
Okay, your point in skulk is now temporarily 0.
Okay,
that's not too bad. That will go away by itself in your next recovery, or if something exceptional happens. The creature lashes out and kind of bashes you in the gut. And you're winded badly, and you can feel your kind of breathing is affected by it, and that feels like it's going to stick around for a while. Perhaps it broke a rib or something. But the thing kind of rides around and squelches and then turns into this horrific ooze that kind of just leaks across the whole base of the sanctum before gradually flowing between the floor stones. Beepo, you realize you're on fire. What do you do about being on fire?
I think I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, that's
I don't think
perfectly fair.
Beepo's. There's nothing funny that springs to mind.
That's fine. What do you think you roll for a stop, drop, and roll, folks? I want to see how
I think
well
it's
Beepo stops.
finesse, surely.
Yeah, finesse. That seems fair.
Oh, and that's I thought finesse was. Oh no, I do have a dice in finesse. I'm reading my minions rather than me. Great. Okay, that's not bad.
I mean, the main thing is to avoid rolling through anything that's flammable, I think.
Yeah.
So finesse sounds good.
That's not bad, but it's not great.
You
That's a 2.
You are bloodied, unavoidably bloodied. I'm not going to let you resist it in this situation. You're burned quite badly by the fire, unfortunately. I would have let you resist it if it was a mixed or something, but on a failure, it's just there's nothing you can do. Your character is effectively half dead because that's what bloodied means. If you take another hit like bloodied, they are completely gone. And you will remain that way until you can the next recovery phase.
Wow. That's harsh.
Beepo screams for a while. I feel like someone might actually even try and help. It's unpleasant enough, even though you're not exactly lovely people.
I mean, if there's a bucket of water nearby or something, then I'll throw it over Beepo.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things where it's like it kind of for a split second, it's kind of hilarious to all your evil minds, and then it's just this horrific screaming that continues, and then
Really
you're kind of
loud,
it's just unpleasant. Yeah. As you can kind of smell the smell of Beepo burning.
I'm going to assist Beepo using a readily available source of fluid. I'm just gonna sort of spit poison over him because that'll. 1, I have a grudge against Beepo. 2, I'm technically helping, and 3, my poison's not as bad as being on fire, so I am helping.
I love it. Just there, like there. I also love the image of someone. Even if it wasn't poison, you were just spitting on the person on fire.
Technically, helping is the best sort of helping.
And I will clear the grudge I have against Beepo.
I mean, I suspect that grudge might just move.
I don't know if Beepo will begrudge Tereth of being set on fire by them after this or not.
Beepo's got other stuff to worry about right now.
I already have a grudge against Slee, so what happens? Do I get a double grudge?
Yeah, we have a mutual grudge.
Just more pissed off. This is to be roleplayed as you like.
I don't think Beepo's doing much apart from yipping sadly and maybe leaving the sanctum to survey the damage.
And damage there is as you head up and look around. The imps are already kind of trying to pick things up and repair the place, but Osric, all your beloved bookshelves have been knocked around and scattered in the library. Both of the minion layers have been completely ruined, and they're going to take some time to repair.
Osric is furious, and especially so at the body snatcher, who he berates for being useless, protecting the books.
I believe both of your minion packs are bloodied as well. That was a pretty significant hit there. However, on the upside, this creature was a significant part of the vampire's power. Now you've stolen the body snatcher and you've defeated the creature. The vampire is going to reduce to tier 1 in total. So this is significant. Ooh. So you are now of equal power to the vampire. I know it's not a technical mechanic, but it kind of made sense. Effectively, there's been a backwards pillage where everything they've thrown at you has failed and been defeated. And that was like their strongest thing. So.
And now we've got a raid without a period of rest first, I think.
No rest allowed. Not how it works.
We're not at our best.
I mean, we were planning to do these wizards, but maybe it would be a bit of vampire revenge time.
That's actually a real good idea.
And to be fair, also, I was about to say Slee is vengeful, and if Slee does not vote for this plan, it would be anti your dark impulse.
This is true.
John, give us an impassioned speech about why Slee thinks you should go attack the vampire, and I'll give you a dark heart.
Right. Let's go fuck him up.
Just like immediately upon this having finished.
Short and sweet.
Slee is not a speeches person. Like,
Yeah, fair. Have a dark heart. That is playing into vengeful. I'm happy.
Oh, the other thing, if Beepo is blooded, then I guess this is XP for the end, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's XP for our thing. That's a nice bonus though. You do get the whatever it is.
Reckless XP, and it's only one of 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if you avoid death twice more, you get a prize.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is.
This seems quite
I am-
Repo, doesn't it?
I am basically dubious street food at the minute, and all you can think about is XP. Gonna take a grudge against Steve.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so the imps are tidying up. Your minions are all effectively licking their wounds in their completely ruined lairs, now hiding in corners, probably giving you untrusting and grumpy eyes. This body snatcher's had a real bad time lately. I think he's probably not talking very much at the moment. Not barely even cackling anymore.
You know, something's bad if
yeah, exactly.
your body snatcher's not crackling.
I'm happy for a roleplay thing, but from my side, most importantly is we decide what the raid is going to be, what the plan is. It sounds like we are definitely going after the vampire. What is the objective?
Stake him.
fuck him up, as said.
Fuck him up.
How does that
Beepo-
fit in with the whole mechanics thing, though?
No, you can just destroy a faction. I don't mind with that.
Oh, okay, right.
I
So
mean,
just
what I
have to
do,
be a special
what I do is
ability.
reduce it to tier 0. The vampire's dead, and there's some other minor thing there. Basically, it's still on the map, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just I
Beepo
wasn't
is-
certain about which particular things allowed you to reduce a tier.
Oh, I'm not playing it that hard to the rules. If we manage to have you kill the vampire role playing
Okay.
wise, which will be tricky, it's going to go down to tier 0 because it makes no logical sense for it. to
Sure,
stay.
sure, yeah.
And I already had
Beepo
the
is
tier
going-
1. Go on, sorry.
Beepo's going to kind of gather his troops and send them down to the sanctum to gather up any remaining parts or twigs or branches of the shambling husk and have them gathered in the center of the library and prepared for when I get back.
Amazing. Yeah, there's totally like remnant bits of wood and all sorts. And yep, that sounds good. Your minions will happily do that, knowing that they're not going out and you're going out instead. They're very happy with this circumstance. They can stay here in the nice, relatively safe dungeon.
I think we've just demonstrated it's relatively unsafe.
So, is the plan just to march straight down there and take on this vampire?
I think Osric might question the body snatcher as to what are the weaknesses, what are the access points to this vampire's lair, like, you know, what does he
Yeah,
know
sure.
that might help us get him?
Sure, that sounds good. I think you should make a roll to see how much information you can glean out of the body snatcher, and I'm happy for Tereth to join in on this. Actually, I'm happy for Tereth to lead the role because it might be an easier one for Tereth's skill set. I feel like that's logical in the circumstance. But take a bonus from it being your minion or Osric's minion. Sorry to steal your thing, Sam. I just feel like
Yeah.
that's... You'll probably be like, we need to get as much information as possible. Tereth is the information guy.
You can torture him or you
Okay.
can set Tereth on him. Those are options.
Yeah, you feel like you give this as an ultimatum to said body snatcher.
Wow.
He just go like, Tereth.
All
I
right, I'll
haven't
go
had a
and
good
get him.
torture in a long time.
You insist.
Okay. So yeah. So I suppose if I'm trying to get information from the body snatcher, that's going to be banter.
Yeah, that's fine. And take a bonus dice, as I said, because they're a minion.
Oh wow. Okay.
Can I assist for a dice?
Yeah, sure. No, that makes sense. You're there
What's the
too.
maximum number of dice you can roll?
Is there a maximum number?
I don't know.
Yeah. I can't see why that matters too much. I mean, I'm just kind of, if you get a critical or a success, expecting sort of thing. But
I think apparently assist, it gives better effect. But
Oh yes.
That's right. So you don't get an extra dice. That's right. I always fall into other roleplay mechanic rules. Thank you.
There is a team up, but that's
Mm-hmm.
you take the highest result, but every PC with a mixed or a failure takes stress.
Nah,
So
I don't
there is a
worry
way.
about stress in this circumstance.
But I'm rolling 4 dice anyway.
Nice.
I am kind of I'm kind of tempted to spend a dark art because I'd like us to sort of start well.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Get as much information as you can. I think the role here is less to get the information out of the necromancer, but to understand it all and make a picture and be able to have an effective plan from it.
Yeah,
that's why I thought it's Tereth's deal more than anything.
Well, I will spend a dark art, so I'll be rolling 5 dice, all told.
Not bad.
Oh, okay. Well, I rolled a 1, 4, a 5, and 2 6s.
Great. Okay. I am happy for the group to tell me what the place looks like and what weakness you're going to exploit to get directly to the vampire with that crit. It's a walled garden, effectively, with a building. That's kind of the basics of what we designed.
So in my mind, it's definitely a kind of cloister, maybe some kind of old temple style building in the middle, like a little tiny church almost. We put the vampire in the belfry for just to change things up, Bela Lugosi it a bit.
Love it. That sounds good in the belfry. I kind of have it in my head, and if you're all happy with this, the vampire has no one else there. The only person who was with the vampire was a body snatcher and their plants. So there's no other properly sentient beings there.
Oh yeah, because I thought I remember just saying they have zombies or something, but I guess they don't.
I mean, they're kind of zombified plant things. I think the body snatcher was snatching bodies so that they could use them as fertilizer.
Yes,
so that they could use the bodies.
So what specific benefits do we get? Because we've built the space now. What's our in?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a vampire, so presumably he has some kind of like crypt or something under this building that he's in. So maybe it's given us the way to find this area, or like perhaps the knowledge that he's asleep during the day. We might already assume that about vampire, but
you probably assume
something like that.
Now you know where he sleeps, and the thing is, this vampire doesn't sleep underground. This vampire thinks he's being clever because everyone expects him to sleep underground, and actually sleeps in the bell tower of the chapel.
Okay,
but you know that now. There you go. And it's behind a big old stone statue, so you can't see the crypt without knowing what statue to look for. But you know what statue to look for. It's like an angel statue.
creepy.
Let's fuck them up.
Cool. Sounds good. So you do your usual. You can't travel during the day. You travel at night. It's going to take you a long while to get down there, but we're not going to have encounters and all sorts of things on the way because that's dull and that's not how Wicked Ones works. But I will just have one little bit of flavour of the world. Tereth, you're wandering you're kind of sneaking along the woodland edge, and while you're along, you hear some traders traveling in a cart in the night. You overhear their conversation, sneaking past perfectly safely, but you hear them muttering about a boat that went missing from the river a while ago, and no one came back. No one made it out alive. But it's odd that the wreck of the boat was never even found if it went in the river. You know, they'd think if it hit the rocks, they would have gone finding it. People went to look and no one ever found the thing. You feel kind of satisfied by that, maybe. You know, no one's on your trail.
Definitely smiling broadly behind behind my mask, I think.
Okay. You stay at the very south end of the. Would you want to bring up the map briefly, John, just because it's nice to see it? You stay at the south end of the large woodland to the south of you over the day, skulking in the darkness and hiding from any humans or other creatures of order in the territory. Not far from Animal Farm, that's where you stay. And then you strike out in the next evening across that open area and then skulk through the woodlands. There's strange noises in these woodlands. Little do your wicked ones know it's the elf dryady woodlands around here. But you're not bothered by anything on the way. And I think probably late in the evening, not too far before dawn, you arrive at the kind of cloister of the horticultural vampire. You can see the bell tower that you're aiming towards. We'll skip straight to the action because that's the way the thing goes. You know exactly what your target is. So 3 dice for the engagement roll. That's a mixed, so no particular advantage. So remember on raids, there's always the option using gear as a unusual special extra thing. There's the advantage of where you've got all your skills and everything else like that to use. But there's also, my brain's gone blank. Oh yeah, remember to think about loot. If you go out your way to get loot at any point, then there will be extra things at the end. Just bear that in mind. So you hop over the wall with no difficulty whatsoever. There's no sentries obvious. It's dark. You kind of scout the place out. And there's nothing. It's just a garden as far as you can tell. Completely empty. There's no torches burning or candles or anything to be seen. You head straight towards the cloister. It's eerily quiet. Just as you're about to enter the church through kind of maybe one of the side doors, there's the sound of movement from one of the vegetable patches nearby. Can everyone make me a scan roll? We just got inside the cloister, Sam. Nothing there obvious as you were heading in. They're almost inside the chapel, but there'd been a noise from nearby. Everyone make me a scan roll.
Scanning.
Rolled a 1 and a 4, so mix.
Mix. Okay, mix is the best.
Failed.
Okay, so Tereth takes you a moment, but you see from inside the cabbage patch there seems to be a cabbage-based creature crawling slowly towards you. It looks like just a large cabbage with kind of weird stem limb things dragging itself along the ground towards you fairly slowly. Maybe you could just go inside the chapel and ignore it. You don't know.
Well, I'll point it out to the others. I'm kind of tempted to boot it somewhere, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, could we yeet it through the belfry window?
Well, go on.
Well, somebody with better finesse is probably best doing that.
Do you think it doesn't sound like anyone's immediately acting and smushing the thing or anything? So I think as you watch, the thing stops, and then the middle of the cabbage kind of opens up, and then it seems to almost inhale air or something. Is someone going to act now, or are you just going to watch it?
I think
if no one else does anything, I'm going to put the stick right into its gob.
Go for it. Okay.
That is an alarm cabbage, and how can you not have noticed that was an alarm cabbage?
That's exactly what it is.
I love it.
I'm going to make a finesse roll on this. Now it's only 1 dice, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's a 1.
So you succeed at sticking the stick right into its gob, and it seems to have no effect whatsoever. In fact, the stick gets stuck inside its gob, and you're kind of trying to grab at the thing. And as you're standing there, an ungodly noise washes over you, almost deafens you. It almost seems to lift you off the ground, actually, while you're holding onto this stick. A kind of wailing, screaming sound. And as the sound ends, you hear other rustling from nearby in the kind of other parts of the veg patch and bits of the bushes nearby. Quite a lot of rustling and different sounds of movement. It's worth pointing out.
So I'm going to kneel down, take out the tinder box that I brought with me, and find as many flammable things as I can inflammable.
Is it raining? I think 2 in 6 chances it's raining.
Can I say 2 in 6?
I mean, if it's raining, that just makes it a bit harder. It's all right.
Yeah. Yes, go on.
It doesn't make it impossible. It is not raining.
Good.
Yes, you can find flammable things with no trouble. It takes you a moment, though, it's worth saying, so others can act while you're drawing things together as quickly as possible, or can help.
So I would like to propose that my unhinged procs at this stage, and I have almost lost my stick. I've nearly lost my life. The stick is coming with me. So Beepo is going to lose himself for a while, desperately trying to free this stick from this creature, and be basically on the back burner for a turn or two.
That's fine. I'm perfectly happy. You get your dark heart for your deranged with that. That's absolutely fair. I can imagine. Do you want to make the noise that Beepo's making trying to pull this stick out, Chris, or would you like me to do it?
Do you want to do it for? I want to hear your interpretation.
I'm imagining him kind of just like while trying to pull this stick out. It's kind of the thing that's going on.
Yeah.
But that over a long period of time. That continues for minutes, basically, while others are acting. So Slee is trying to gather things for a fire. Osric, Tereth, have you got an intention? It's worth saying the building is right next to you. You could just try and get inside if you wanted to get away from all this. Although then you might be trapped by plants.
I was wondering about teaming up with Slee, because I've still got this bottle of spirit. So
it went so well last time.
Well, this time I'm pouring it on things. So I'm figuring this one would be a team up, which would give take the highest result. So I just roll. It's not an extra die or anything. It's just like I roll as well on a
what are you looking at?
thing of the team up sort of.
Yeah, so that's you both roll it, and then whoever has the best result. So it's just multiple chances.
Okay, right. In which case, I guess I would be scanning for, like, pouring it on things that are moving.
Yeah.
Could I use scan for that?
Yeah, sure. So you're going to aim to set the plants that might be coming for you on fire.
Yes.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's going to be a scan first. They're quite difficult to pick out in the night among all the other plants. So give me a scan, and then there's going to be another roll after that, I think, to do it well.
And presumably that's a roll for Slee?
Well, it depends, because Slee's just make... Are you planning on setting the plants on fire, or are you just planning on building a big bonfire, John? What's the kind of...
My ultimate plan is to set everything in this garden on fire.
Okay.
Because if we don't kill the vampire, I want to inconvenience him as much as possible.
That sounds very effective. I mean, vampires don't typically like fire, generally, far as...
that is the main reason. I other than the giant tree monster that attacked us, I don't really know that he has a plant affinity. I just know he's a vampire, which is why I brought the fire. But
gotcha.
Then we walked into a place that was really flammable.
So, Terence, if you just want to set everything on fire, you don't need to roll. If you're looking to specifically target the creatures, you'll need to do a roll.
I was just kind of hoping to assist the magnitude of the fire with a.
I think you both. Neither of you need to roll to be doing that. You can just be
Okay.
gradually making the place be on fire. Fine, no rolls needed for that.
Okay, cool.
You're
You
just
two are-
sort of generally sloshing the spirit around the place.
Exactly. Yeah. You're just contributing to this. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I'll be humming a happy little tune as I, slosh.
It's amazing. Osric, what are you doing?
Well, Osric knows from the body snatcher that they've been using human bodies as fertilizer here.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna attempt to get some of them out of the ground to help us kill this vampire who's
That's
so
a great
rudely
idea.
stolen them.
That is a great idea, and I'm going to give you an immediate bonus dice because of that very fact that you stated just then. Are you going to try for a tier 2 rather than a tier 1, given that knowledge?
I'm definitely gonna try for a tier 2.
The fact that that means it's not a bonus dice, but you can do it immediately, if you see what I mean, because you're in an advantageous situation.
Okay. I think tier 2 means I take minus a die, which takes me down to 2, and also costs me a stress.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go hard and overload, which because that's always fun. So I get better effect, worse position, and I get a 1 dice extra, but I cannot resist any consequences.
Okay. Sounds perfect.
So I think I get with all that I get basically -1 plus 1. I get 3 dice because my invoke is 3.
Go for it. I will. Wait. Let me look at your Dark Impulse, and I could also offer you a Dark Bargain if they're relevant. Obsessed. I'm not sure I can think of a dark obsessed playoff here. But I will give you a Dark Bargain. That. Oh, that's me. Is that a bit too? I will let you have an extra dice because of the situation. You're real pissed off. You can have an extra dice, but you will immediately take a shock to your occult if you do take the extra dice. As in, it'll affect it after this roll.
No.
Fair.
Okay, I rolled a 4, a 1, and a 6.
6, yes. Okay. Osric, I'll tell you what actual thing you get, but describe this greater summoning ritual of undead that you perform.
I think Osric has maybe collected a bit of like blood or something. Perhaps some of his own, some from the body snatcher. Maybe he's gone around a bit, trying to get some blood.
Bleed the kobolds occasionally as well as you do.
Yeah, exactly. And then kind of scatters it over the garden area here where he thinks there might be corpses, and then using his magic tries to send his blood and the rest of the blood deep into the earth, seeking out corpses to breathe life into as he stands in the middle of the garden, kind of chanting some horrible demonic chant. And having a great time.
Yeah, definitely. And as your blood and the blood of others seeped in the ground, you feel 4 bodies nearby that are drawn up towards you, and they're empowered by this kind of demonic blood energy. And they as they come up, their form is kind of magnified beyond their original, and they're kind of bulky, and they're like bony extended growths come from their arms. They look like quite intimidating, creatures to fight with. And as they emerge from the ground, they all kind of line up in an orderly fashion and march towards you.
Yes, my minions. We will destroy this vampire. I'm gonna send them to smash the door or whatever it is that there is to this building.
Absolutely. It's worth saying they're all humans. They used to be humans at one point. They actually just look like kind of horrible, malnourished peasants, but their bodies are just warped by this kind of blooded magic to turn them into formidable fighting forces. And yeah, they just start tearing at the door, making quick work of it.
Excellent.
I think the door is probably down is the next thing that happens. I think that's very quick. And I'm happy to say Slee and Tereth have set a fair few things on fire. I think this is a random roll, so I'm going to make it to how much fire there is going on.
As long as we haven't set Beepo on fire again.
I think Beepo, we'll save Beepo a second round of fire in this session. Well, that's a disappointing 1. So there is some fire, but the fire isn't spreading as quickly as you would like. But there is fire, you know. Osric's minions have torn down this door. Are you proceeding inside, or are you going to continue with fire? It's worth saying creatures are approaching you now. Most of them just look like large, overgrown vegetables. There's a particularly intimidating pumpkin quite close to Tereth, for example. They don't seem to be brandishing any weapons, but there do seem to be a lot of them.
How wet do they look?
It's not raining.
Don't pull that face.
So they're not externally wet, but they are living vegetables. So they're not the most flammable things. If you
Are they moist? Would you describe them as moist?
I would describe them as moist. Yeah, I mean, have you ever tried to burn a pumpkin or a cucumber or something? There's a lot of moisture going on there. Not easy.
Surprisingly, no, I have never tried to burn a cucumber.
What are you doing with your life, John?
If you want to see us try burning a cucumber, we can
join our Patreon.
Yeah.
Don't promise these things. Oh no, this is the thing for a t-shirt, isn't it? Just flaming cucumber.
Hey, Matt, the Thursday night crew have signed you up for some work.
We just
You can make a weekly series, you know, one vegetable.
Assemble a collection of vegetables and then set fire to them.
Anyway, what are we doing? Are you reacting? Are you trying to attack these things? Are you just trying to throw fire at them, or are you going inside? I'm going to have one more little brief moment of Beepo's deranged screaming, and then he can come back to.
I would like to continue to build up the fire and also place it as a barrier to stop them from following us into the building.
Okay, I like that
Or at least
idea.
the hindrance.
That will need a roll to see how well you can do that. It's probably going to be a finesse, or unless you could make the case for something else.
I'm good with the finesse.
Yeah, to try.
I'm going to spend a dark heart.
And I will say that you're doing this allowing enough time for the others to follow.
Yeah, I'll probably head in.
Mm-hmm.
That's some
One
desperate
success.
shaking.
Yep, one success. Absolutely fine. You succeed at blockading the door once the others have come in. Osric follows those creatures in. Tereth soon after. I think Beepo eventually finishes screaming and does get the stick out of the cabbage creature, which hasn't done very much other than wail, it's worth saying.
Yeah, Beepo is looking just full on feral at the minute.
Is it nighttime at the moment?
It's not far before dawn.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all inside the church. There's quite the cacophony of shambling vegetables and what sounds like a growing fire outside the door.
Is there a path up? We're trying to head upwards. Is the idea?
It's a small chapel and a set of stairs to the side at the far end of the chapel near the altar that presumably go up to the bell tower.
Osric is going to send these minions up first and then follow them up directly behind.
Sounds good.
On the
Presumably
wall
everyone
path.
is just following unless you have. Let me know if you have other plans. So you get to the top of the stairs. Go on, John, do you have an idea?
Before I follow,
Mm-hmm.
can I have a scan of the room? The main room.
Mm-hmm.
To see if there's anything. Oh, I only have one in scan.
Mm-hmm. You're thinking
right.
of them treasures. Good plan. No one's been thinking of them treasures yet.
That's mixed.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You do spot some treasure. Your mixed negative is going to be it will take you a while to gather it if you decide. Miscellaneous gold idols to the side of the aisle.
I would rather attack the vampire and loot later if there is time. So I'm
If it's
going
any
to allow
consolation, there's a lot of current vampire attacking potential going on, but but yeah, fair. Okay, I'm going to make an engagement roll for you and the vampire. Now, big negative for vampire, encrypt. Big positive for vampire, screaming cabbage. Neutral. Vampire rolls a mix. So effectively, you are exactly at the point that you come up the stairs. I think the minion's slightly ahead of you. And Osric, you see the vampire do the classic out of the crypt thing just at that moment, and look in shock at you, and then just say, "You," and then just do a classic vampiric flying leap directly towards you, Osric. However, your minions intercept him because they are good and powerful minions. Make me a roll for them. I think they would have 2 in whatever the fighty stat is.
Smash, maybe?
Smash, yeah. They're going to have 2 in Smash.
Okay. That's a 4. So
4, okay, mixed. So they're not going to do damage, but they do stop him getting to you. That's what happens.
Good job, minions.
So he's tangled up in them, kind of half reaching for you with fangs out, just like... For what it's worth...
kind of goes like this as he jumps at it.
For what it's worth, he is like the most absolutely quintessential classic vampire, like, 80s Dracula style. Long pointed ears, big old fangs, pointed nose, very Nosferatu style with a big black cape with a red like a velvety red inside. Just unbelievably cliche vampire. I think Osric sort of blocked the stairs for everyone else because of the hesitation. So you're all kind of behind Osric, like, get out of the way, sort of thing. So that means the vampire. Go on.
At some point before you got to the stairs, maybe someone was just paying attention to Beepo, and Beepo just snapped from feral to absolutely calculated, and began rustling around the bottom floor of the church, just gathering up as many holy symbols and kind of artifacts of devotion as he could into a little kind of pile in the middle of the room, and is now kind of acting upon that in a way that seems most unusual.
Okay, I like it. Good. I feel like almost Beepo was at the back, and you probably haven't really paid attention to this, actually. Beepo is probably just doing this strange thing behind you all, almost unbeknownst to you all. No, I shouldn't play them like they're not an adventurer. I didn't put them down as an adventurer, so they only damage on a fail, so I'm not going to have... Although it was a mixed, but I did say... No, it doesn't matter. The vampire doesn't get an attack. Stop breaking the game rules. So, Osric, are you going to head up those stairs and try and let other people pass at the very least? I guess your main thing is just ordering your minions to kill, though.
Yeah, I don't think Osric has any urge to move forwards towards this very aggressive vampire. He's just going to, let people pass while telling his minions to, get this vampire.
Sounds good. Well, give me another bash for your minions.
Okay.
They're just trying to tear this vampire apart. They don't really have the consciousness of staking.
I think if I have this level of control over them, I would be trying to get them to hold the vampire still, so that one of us can stake him.
That makes sense. Yeah, your necromancy
keep him.
Your necromancy doesn't work like you tell them. Your necromancy almost works more like they're extension of your body, so you can kind of feel them, and you're kind of trying to. It's as difficult as that is, trying to move them to hold the vampire. One of them kind of gets on each limb. Roll a dice to see how effective that is. Just a smash again, I think.
That's a 6 and a 2.
Nice. Yep, they succeed. The vampire is struggling and might not be held for very long, but they have managed to get the vampire kind of like that. Tereth and Slee behind Osric on the stairs.
If this is a stereotypical quintessential vampire, then not only are they big fangs, big cape, and I'll get to the cape, big cape, I'm imagining they also have the quintessential vampire crypt with thousands of drippy candles everywhere.
Oh yeah, 100%. This place is full of candles.
Right, and also the very long, probably velvet cape.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to take one of the candles, and while the vampire is being restrained, I'm going to try and set fire to his cape.
Yeah. All about that fire today, aren't we, folks?
It's there. It's
Yep.
you know, I found a new toy.
That's going to have to be a finesse roll because the vampire is definitely struggling quite furiously.
It's fine by me. That is a success.
Okay, the vampire's cape is on fire. I mean, it's not like it goes up like explosive or anything, but it's certainly not going to be happy. It's not going to be a happy vampire very soon, especially since the vampire has no ability to put out the cape.
But it's gonna like take a while to spread up.
Yeah, at least a moment.
Yeah.
Tareth, are you dashing up the stairs as well?
I've been thinking about this. I mean, I'm really not a sort of a fighty character, and I am quite interested in the idea of loot.
Yep.
So I might sort of scan around for any sort of hidden rooms with shiny things. I think.
Yeah, go for it.
Or indeed, like gems or the sort of stuff that we would perhaps I'll even try to find a nice book for Osric.
Oh, how lovely. Why don't you make that scan roll then?
Right. I rolled a 3 and a 6.
Very nice. Ooh, okay. I was going to say as well, since you are in the vampire sanctum, you notice a kind of crack in the wall nearby, and actually, as you look at it, you notice it goes right round, almost like a hidden doorway. And then you look at one of the candle holders nearby, and it looks suspiciously like someone's been poking it a lot. And you pull on the candle holder, and the stone door moves in. And inside, you can see a shining, glittering, golden color coming out. And
very nice.
It's full of, I mean, it doesn't really matter what it's full of because it's just treasure, but it's full of all sorts of gold and silver idols and religious relics and things like that.
Excellent. Well, I will enjoy the sight for a moment and then, take my pick.
Lovely stuff. Okay, we're going to go back downstairs. Beepo, what is going on? That exact noise is happening.
Yeah, pretty much. I am going to spend 1 stress. That the reason for doing that will be to allow me to invoke a tier 2 spell of my chosen deity's domains. That's Malawa, so we're going to do a little bit of sorcery. And if I am successful, you will notice that all of the kind of little statues and figurines in the little pile I've made will start to cry. And in crying, what they're actually doing is sucking the moisture out of the environment and making everything just that little bit more flammable.
I love it.
Wow.
That's a great creative way of, I'm happy with that.
So that's invoke a 2 dice. Do I want to trash my dark heart already just to really... I think like my rule now as a player is I'm spending my dark heart if I absolutely want to put the nail in the coffin of something cool that I'm trying to do. And I think this classes as a little bit cool.
This does definitely cast a little bit cool. I mean, your description was very cool.
So here we go. 3 dice. That is a 3, a 4, and a 2. So that's a mixed.
Well,
how does that feel?
No, hang on. That's a 4. That's a mix, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, mixed.
And I can't offer words of wisdom for mixed.
I've got a great idea for mixed because the church is not exactly. This is not a stone church. This is a wood church. So maybe I've just put a bit of a clock on how long we've got until we.
Absolutely. There was already a fire outside. I think suddenly, Bebo, as you're cackling and doing this, you notice that the air has gotten very dry, and all of a sudden, behind you, the building has just caught immediately from that fire outside. You are currently inside what is the start of a flaming church. Upstairs, the cape of the vampire is burning quite nicely. I think now his leg is on fire and he started screaming. So this vampire might not be long for this world for very much longer. Is someone going to try and put the nail in the coffin or the stake in the chest, literally, or are you going to?
They're all figuratively correct in this situation.
I think Osric is just gonna gloat at this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm also
amazing.
just gonna laugh.
Amazing.
I would be like, swear fealty to you, huh? Invade our sanctum? Is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna send your minion to us? Is that your plan? Are you the all-powerful vampire of this valley? You pathetic.
Osric's going all big mouth. I love it.
Osric, roll me one more thing for your minions to keep a hold of the vampire. Don't roll a fail, or your words will look rather. You're muted. So.
Mute.
After celebrating very prematurely, I'm going to spend a dark heart on this one just to avoid embarrassment if it's all possible.
Oh gosh.
It's a mixed.
Oh, shit.
The vampire manages to kick off from like two of these powerful minions, and one of them goes flailing back and is impaled on a statue. And it's not dead, but it can't get off momentarily. It goes like through its shoulder. So only two of them are still holding it. And the vampire kind of reaches out to you and clasps and manages to just get a hold of you.
I mean,
yeah,
it is dead.
It is actually dead.
I mean, it's already dead. It's just not ceasing to function.
Not no longer undead.
Exactly. So the vampire managed to clasp at you with one of its kind of clawed hands and just goes, "All will be mine," and then just bursts into flames. And you have to step back quite quickly to not be caught in the inferno, as it just almost immediately the flames go out and it turns into ash. That was the effect of Beepos reducing the moisture for you. Otherwise, there might have been badder things then. But it's worth saying, this building is on fire. You need to get out right now. I would like you all to roll me something that will get you out of the building quickly. Whatever you think you're going to make the case for best.
Are we underground or above ground?
Above ground. You're actually up a tower.
Yes, that's what I thought. Good.
I think I'll try using scan to look for the most the quickest, most expedient route out of the building.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Makes sense. Everyone can go ahead and roll me if they think it's a logical skill. I'm happy.
Is it cheating to use invoke because I'm getting one of my people to carry me out of this building as fast as they can? Or
That's
two of them.
tenuous, but no, I mean, what else are you going to use invoke for?
Yeah, I don't think I can argue with that. I think that's fair. It's hilarious. Just carry me, minions.
I'm going to add a dark hearts to mine to
only because they're tier 2.
I still failed. Just so I rolled 3 dice, all 2s.
Oh my god!
Is this your? Yeah.
How can I offer words of wisdom that would?
You go back in time. You know, one day you will be.
Yes, whenever at some point in the future, you might find yourself carried by your own minions out of a burning building.
I like to imagine it's more of a like, remember, even though your minions are your undead, you still have to keep them in line. You still have to remember, the spirit of what they were, sort of thing. Perhaps you gotta order whatever they are.
I'm just going to say,
I think it might be, or something like, no matter how powerful a mage you become, sometimes you've still got to stand or walk or run on your own 2 legs.
That does seem like a good idea.
I was saying you could always spend a stress, take a flashback, and have remembered to have packed some experimental prototype roller skates.
Oh God! Although we do keep forgetting that rule. That's the stupidest way of using them, especially since you're currently upstairs.
Over a really fast exit.
Very
slide down the banister.
Surf down the stairs That's all I need.
on the corpses that you've animated. Perfect. Tereth, Steve, are you going to give Osric a reroll?
Yes, I'll spend a stress to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Very generous of you. Is this
Good,
a
'cause if
full
this-
reroll?
Yeah, reroll. It's the only way to get a reroll. I think it's a pretty cool skill.
Okay. Okay, that's a 5. So
Mhm. Mixed. Okay.
mixed.
I was funny because I was going to say if you got a success or a critical, I would have allowed you to carry multiple party members. But as is, that's fine.
Just
Okay, so
me.
they carry you. One of them's on fire. One of them is stuck. 2 remaining help carry you out.
I feel like I have slightly more time than everyone else because I'm confident in my abilities. So I would like to grab some loot, and then I would like to spend a stress to use my Prowler ability,
Mhm.
wherein one of the literal examples given is leaping safely from a high tower.
That's a good case to make there, yeah. Well, you have to make a scan to get decent treasure, though, because this is
I'm
definitely
happy
a
with
tough
that.
situation for that. Although, I'm going to give you a bonus dice because the secret door has already been opened by Tereth.
Mm,
And Tereth definitely did not grab all that loot.
that's a success.
Yeah, you go in and grab some more religious idols and various gemstones.
And then I'm just gonna dive out the window.
Yeah, go for it. Just Slee dives elegantly out the window and squelches on top of a sentient Swede.
Sentient Swede, love it.
Tereth, how did your escape go with the scan?
So I was rolling scan, which was 2 pips. I added a dark heart because I just wanted to be certain.
It seems fair. Getting
and
out of
then
burning building.
Yeah, and then I rolled 3 6s.
Okay, how could you possibly escape better?
So I'm just gonna fucking saunter.
Yeah,
Burning church,
hmm
arms full of loot. Just
You know what?
saunter.
You gain
Don't
a dark
look back.
You gain a dark heart back for just being so badass. I think that's the only way I can possibly
Nice.
repay you for that.
Nice.
The building collapses around you and you're just there in the middle of it, just walking with not a single piece of wreckage landing where you were. Slee had a really epic exit, but all 3 of the other characters just kind of go at that. Beepo, how's your escape gone?
So Beepo has on the stick has now like tied a little kind of the little knapsacks you'd have at the end of the stick fair. It's very adorable, which is filled with the now freshly desecrated religious artifacts, and has just kind of walked out the front door like the littlest hobo.
I love it. Amazing.
I think I'll roll finesse for that. I would like to barter to get an extra dice because I started on the ground floor and I'm the one who started the fire.
I was going to offer you an extra dice for that, yes. You caught me out.
Oh, that's a 2 and a 3. So that's a 3 is a mixed, is it?
No, 4 is mixed. That is a failure. Beepo be stuck in burning building of their own design. Okay, so that will be
I'll spend a stress to
you can do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's useful. I was about to give you a chance to resist anyway. I wasn't going to immediately kill you, so
I'm happy someone else spent the stress on that. Let's see what happens. That is a mixed. I got a 4.
Okay. Yeah, you're good. You make it out. I'm not going to give you any particular consequence in this situation, I think. You're just the most ungainly and the most awkward exit, basically. I really like the image of all your different exits, particularly Osric being carried by the 2 undead things. It's worth saying, by the time you've got out, the vegetable creatures are mostly burning now and pose no threat whatsoever. By the time you're leaping the wall, the undead monsters are mostly kind of deteriorated. So Osric, you kind of abandon them there. I think this is probably some of the best undead you've summoned to this point. So maybe there's a brief glance just to appreciate your work.
Looks back wistfully.
Mm-hmm. And everyone, even if you don't say it out loud, has a moment reflecting on just how badass Tereth's exit that building was. Like, damn, you've never seen anything like that before. And I think we will end the session there with the epic exit, having defeated the monstrous vampire. Well done, folks.
Excellent.
Now, we must remember XP because we don't want to forget that, because otherwise it will be way too confusing to remember next time. So, I must have written down the page this is on by now. I must have done. I haven't. Okay. I remember approximately where it is, just before the
Is it
dungeon
78?
section.
Advancement is 78.
That's it, thank you. Excellent. Oh god, this thing is so hard to navigate because it's so big. There we go. Okay, so Wicked XP. We have to answer these questions. You know what? I'm going to write down page 78 right now because it's going to happen again, isn't it? 78.
Good
Excellent.
job, Sam. We're proud of you.
You may progress on your master plan. The vampire was a clear barrier to your master plan. Not only do you defeat the vampire today, you defeat the vampire twice. So, big tick. Everyone gets that. Okay, dungeon scene. You jumped into someone else's dungeon scene. This is like a funky thing because of how the mechanic works, and we play a bit differently because I tend to more ask what people are doing. But basically, characterful and entertaining stuff, playing the dungeon. Anyone got any things to nominate for that?
Tereth helping with the body snatcher, maybe for Tereth. I don't know if that's a dungeon scene or not.
Which one was that? Oh, you mean
Getting the information from him about the vampire.
there wasn't really much role play there though. I felt like it would be something where if you specifically had threatened or something.
Yeah, we didn't really have a lot of. We just went straight from sort of blowback into revenge raid, didn't we? So there wasn't a huge amount of.
I think this is something that I need to get better at as a GM. It's like giving you opportunities to have fun describing how the traps work, how etc. works in the dungeon. I think that's kind of what it's playing off towards here, and it's quite difficult to get that dynamic working effectively.
Well, I think I kind of had fun with my kobolds.
I was
think
gonna-
they
yeah,
were
true.
they were characterful, so I think
That's
I'd like
true.
to take one for that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You can take one for that. I don't really think that the body snatcher did anything, so I won't. Maybe not for Sam.
Definitely not.
Maybe smile.
Cackle a bit. So feel free to catch me out if in next dungeon stuff or next time you have an attack on the dungeon, feel free to be like, no, this is my narration, because I might forget that a bit. You acted like a monster. Yeah.
Well, I set Beepo on fire.
Yeah, you did set Beep up. You deliberately chose it was okay to set Beep. Steve gets one. John?
I spat poison on a burning wounded comrade.
I am.
You did. I mean,
I'm
I feel
upset with all of you.
like Beepo's probably got a few things you could go for, Chris.
Yeah, I think I once again I'm having just an absolute joy playing an unhinged kobold. I think I was made for this, and I think I did some great work with in both circumstances playing both ends of Beepo as both a completely unhinged feral nonsense creature and the really kind of legitimately scary mage that exists trying to fight its way through their intellect.
For me, it was particularly the ritual with the crying statuette things. That was very monstrous. So yeah, have it for that in my book.
We need character art.
Yeah, I know.
I want to see. Don't care about me. I want to see Beepo.
I'd love to see Tereth as well. Tereth's such a fun character. Tereth marching through the flames. Oh. Sam, have you got an Osric monstrous moment as well?
Maybe laughing at the vampire as he burns to death.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I was proud of that. Tereth was definitely.
Although I was really hoping you would completely flop that roll. I knew you would just jump on you and immediately bite in your neck. Yeah, everyone gets a monstrous. Gear and supply in creative ways. Anyone got a volunteer in this one?
I mean, spitting flammable spirit.
Yep, I thought that was one, definitely. I was going to volunteer that one. Good job. I know we don't usually do too much of kit stuff, so I was tempted to give you one as well, John, for volunteering that you had a tinderbox. I thought that was just quite interesting and cool. because we don't use gear very often. Maybe I'll get a bit more strict with these later on. But not everyone.
I was it actually occurred to me because you mentioned it. I think it was before stream that I still had a loot owed to me for taking down that sailor, and the tinderbox was actually my idea for that.
Ah, nice. That's quite fun.
Yeah.
Like, so it could be a special thing. I like that. We can work up a bit more. Maybe it's got some power to it beyond just, maybe like a bonus for lighting fires or something. That could be quite useful. I like that.
Cool.
And Beeper gets a reckless XP, of course.
Yes, people get a reckless XP. And I remember your practice XP if you did do anything that you hadn't done before. I think you probably did.
Is it when it gets to 3 with that?
For practice
Yes.
XP, yes.
1, 2, 3 fills it.
Cool. Yeah.
Have you filled something?
2.
Oh.
No, I'm only at 2. I have filled my Wicked XP.
Nice. Oh, you've got us a level up. Ooh, something to think about for next session. Because the levels are quite cool in this. Whole new skills. That sounds fun. And you can take them from any calling, I think, as well, can't you? For the levels. It doesn't have to be just your own one. So
I think so, yes.
But anyway, we can look at that before next session. Cool. Well, I think that is us. That was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. The dungeon raid was fun. I think we'll get a bit smoother with that in future. And I'll stop dominating the narration, or I'll try to at least. But I really enjoyed the vampire. So much monstrousness going on.
It's one of those systems where it does require a lot of thought. It's like, because there's no sort of set menu to choose what you do from it. It definitely requires a certain amount of harmonization to really be able to leap into it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm still definitely slightly forgetting the position and effect, and slightly forgetting that I don't give people extra dice. It affects those stats, but
I'm loving the Beepo's invocation there. That was
very cool.
That was great. That was
like
nice.
that. Cool. Have we got any questions, comments, stuff to read out, Joe?
I'm just having a look through. We've got a few things. Got this nice one from Night Bites. Hooked by Simbaroom, stayed for everything else.
Oh, we're everything else. Go on.
I appreciate it.
This is the perfect. This is the perfect aperitif to Simbaroom, actually, isn't it? It's just much more. It's much more free flowing and much more. I don't know. Fun's the different kind of fun.
It's very chaotic, but that's how we like it. I don't think this game could ever not be chaotic. Like, even if you had a group that was trying to take it seriously, it would still be madness, wouldn't it? Like, we're not playing on the silliest end. You could definitely play a lot sillier. So
we have from 4242. It's a Wile E. Coyote painted on the door on a blank wall.
When was that?
That was for the
door at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Oh, I love
it. I'm hoping it's got door written on it in big letters.
Yeah. It's just like a really well painted tunnel, one of those illusion things.
Why would that? It is a tunnel. It's a door in front of a tunnel. Why would we paint a tunnel on it?
So they think it's boring.
I think someone wrote as well, like a door with sanctum written above it. Like,
oh yeah, that was like, drop
that. Please don't go this way. This is our sanctum. Don't catch us off guard.
And then I have no excuse for this. My first comment: evil Muppet behavior, and then in a flash of sleep deprived inspiration. Oh my God! What if we were Muppets?
That's just.
I
can see the whole thing.
I can see it working.
Yeah, I suppose.
The whole narrative of the story suddenly makes a lot more sense in light of that. In fairness,
the whole narrative of the world, just everyone's Muppets, I think.
Well, especially the alarm cabbage, all of that. Yeah.
No, I think all the light creatures are played by humans.
Oh, okay, right.
Human actors, and occasionally celebrity cameos. But all of the dark and neutral characters are Muppets.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is great to imagine the vegetable patch full Muppet. I completely agree. I was having fun with that, I must admit. Just all the sentient vegetables.
Like the idea that you could see the necromantic ones because it's like normal cabbage, normal cabbage, normal cabbage, cabbage made of felt,
Yeah, that's every Muppet ever.
pumpkin with googly eyes.
Love it.
Oh, I want it.
Perfect.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, honestly, I want to see a Muppets of this now. Also, John, oh my God, what if we were Muppets? Isn't that a question you just ask yourself normally in life, you know?
I mean, I feel like life would be full of a lot more whimsy. We'd also be a lot more flammable, though, and maybe
Yeah.
that's what got the vampire in the end. So
The
maybe
count.
we shouldn't want that.
Clearly. Cool. Anything else?
There's a nice new quote from Night Bites.
No, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
If I could draw.
Oh hell, if I was any kind of artist, there will be fan art coming out of that. I love that. Please, all the fan art folks, just send it our way. We'd love it.
And we also have a thank you for the follow to Django and Banjo, who followed us during the stream. So, you know.
Oh.
We are truly evil.
I mean, actually,
I was having
more or less
I was having a
perfect how I
hard enough
described.
time with the felt vegetables. I'm very susceptible to felt Muppet vegetables, and now you've just killed the best Sesame Street.
He literally is exactly as I described, isn't he? I'm sorry, all you children who liked the Count. Rip the Count, by the way, for those who aren't, who are just listening. Oh,
Well,
amazing.
This is
Okay.
a
Can't
great
follow
game.
that.
I'm going to call it there, folks. That was an excellent session. Thanks very much. Having lots of fun playing Wicked Ones. We're telling tales. We stream Monday night, Wednesday night, some Thursday nights, occasional weekends do one-shots. Come check them out on Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, just distracting me with the comments up, John. Damn it.
Oh, that was me.
We'll see you in 2 weeks for the next Wicked Ones, folks. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.